Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be ranking Avengers superheroes based on how cool I think their powers are. This is a video idea I've had for a really long time, and I decided to do it now because why not? Everybody likes superheroes. So yeah, I guess let's start with Thor. I'm gonna give Thor. He's honestly really close to an S tier, but I'm gonna put him in A. So what he does is one, he has a hammer that's like really strong, and he's also the only one that could hold it. And two, he can control like lightning and stuff. He's also really funny, especially when he's paired with sarcastic characters like Iron Man. So yeah, I think he's a solid A tier. He has a really cool power, and overall, he's just a funny character. Next up is Black Widow. I'm gonna throw Black Widow in C tier. She isn't really anything special. She doesn't have any powers. She's just like really athletic. I also feel like she didn't really do much in Avengers to help the others, like anything crazy, especially when you compare her to other heroes like Iron Man, which died for everybody at an Endgame, or Doctor Strange. So yeah, that's probably the reason why they killed her. So I'm gonna leave her in C tier. Iron Man, I'm gonna throw in B tier. I feel like he's a bit overrated. He has a really cool power. Basically, he could just like fly around and shoot like lasers and jets and stuff. He's really cool, but I don't feel like his powers are thought out really well. I don't know how to explain it. It's like they got a bunch of cool powers like um that I don't know kids would like, and they said, okay, yay, he could shoot lasers and he could fly. I don't really know. I feel like his powers are kind of weird. He's a bit overrated in my opinion too. He is, and I also feel like he's also trying to beef with other characters like all the time. So yeah, I'm gonna throw him in B tier. But our first S tier, honestly, is Spider Man. He's really cool. Basically, he's just your friendly neighborhood Spider Man. He swings around. He's funny. He that's it. He just swings around and he's funny, and he climbs up walls and stuff like a spider. I'm gonna put him in S tier. I feel like his powers are pretty well thought out. He got bit by like a radioactive spider. It's pretty cool, and he got turned into a superhero. Um, I don't know how many kids have gotten bit by spiders because of this superhero, but I feel like it's a lot. But I'm still throwing him in S tier because his powers are really cool. Next up is Vision. I'm gonna go ahead and throw Vision in C tier. I don't really like Vision that much. I don't really care for him at all. I also think, on a side note, his design is really ugly in my opinion. But yeah, he's basically an AI, and he has the Mind Stone, and he barely uses it in all four movies. He barely uses it, even though he got introduced for the second movie. So he had the entire second movie. He had the entire third movie, and he had the entire fourth movie, and he barely did nothing. Um, and yeah, his design is also really ugly. So I'm gonna leave him in C tier. Another one I'm gonna throw in C tier. Actually, I'll throw Black Panther in B tier. I feel like he doesn't really do much either um in the Avengers at all. I feel like he doesn't do that much, but his powers are cooler in my opinion, cuz he's basically like the cooler Black Widow. He's like really athletic, but he also has claws, and like he's really sneaky. He has boots that make everything quiet. So yeah, I'm going to throw him in B tier. He's really close to being C tier, but I think he's above Black Widow and Vision. Ant-Man, I'm gonna go ahead and throw him in A tier. He's a pretty cool character. I actually find it really interesting that instead of just saying, "Oh, he could become small or he could become big," they literally made it so he either becomes a giant or he shrinks down to the molecules. So that's like, I feel like they put more effort, because any other franchise, if they made a superhero that could shrink or grow, I feel like it would just be, they would turn the size of like a rock or something, or they could turn the size of like, I don't know, a building. But this guy, he really has a difference between how tiny or how big he could get. He could literally become a titan, or he could become a flea. That's pretty cool. There's also a lot of cool scenes of him like riding bees and flies and stuff because he's that small. So yeah, he's a really cool character. War Machine, I'm gonna throw him in B tier. He's basically just Iron Man, but he has more weapons. Like his whole body is basically decked out in missiles and turrets and all that stuff. So yeah, he's in B tier. I like his personality better than Iron Man's because he's not always trying to beef with other superheroes. But I still think Iron Man's better because Iron Man's a classic. Everybody knows who he is. He's one of a kind. So yeah, I'm just gonna throw him in B tier. Scarlet Witch is an A tier. She would be an S tier because her powers are really cool and unique, and they're also really cool to look at. I haven't really mentioned that, but her powers are really cool to look at. She makes like this red force field, and since red's my favorite color, that's probably a big part of it. But yeah, it's really cool to see her do her powers. The only problem is that she was really annoying in the first movie. Like she would sneak up behind the other Avengers and like put them through trauma basically. Um and it's weird because I like Thanos as a villain, even though he's like 10 times worse than she is, because Thanos never turned to the hero side, but she did, and it didn't really take long for her to do it either. It wasn't even a whole movie. So yeah, I just feel like she was really annoying for the heroes to deal with. Like, I imagine if I was just trying to mind my business and then I got put through trauma from like 7 years ago, I'd be like, dude, what the heck? So yeah, I'm gonna put her in A tier. She would be S tier, but yeah. Hawkeye is an S tier. I've always liked Hawkeye. He's really cool. He could do a lot. He's very versatile. There's a lot of things that he could do with his bows. He could it goes down to be so specific. He could do such specific things with his bows. For example, there was one where it turned into like a USB and he disabled the ship or something, like he shot it into the ship and the whole thing went down, or one of the jets went down. He could grapple onto objects so he could swing, kind of like Spider-Man. He could make his bullets explosive. He could make them turn into acid. So yeah, he could do a lot of cool things. But it's not like he doesn't have a power. It's not like he's just really good at bows. Kind of like Iron Man, where he doesn't really have a power. He just has the suit. Hawkeye has a really cool power where he could see everything. He's kind of like Doctor Strange, where even if you sneak up behind him and you're completely out of his view, he'll still somehow know you're there. So that's really cool. And that was a really good choice, a really good second power to give him, considering, he has a bow. So it makes for some really cool scenes where he shoots behind him without even looking and ends up killing, the alien that's trying to sneak up on him or whatever. Captain Marvel's power, I feel like it's not that well thought out. I don't know. I'm going to throw her in B tier. Basically, her ability is the Mario Superstar, where she basically just one-shots everything she flies through. I remember in Avenger, she just flew through an entire ship, and she was really the only one who stood a chance against Thanos. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like for her power, I feel like they just wrote down she's really, really strong, and then they called it a day. So yeah, I'm gonna put her in B tier. I feel like it couldn't have taken that much time to come up with their powers. And I would say the same thing about Hulk, but the thing about Hulk, actually, no, I'm gonna throw Hulk in B tier, and I'll explain why in a second. So the thing about Hulk that makes him better than or whatever her name is, Captain Marvel, and what makes him better, in my opinion, is that he actually has unique power. Like super strength, obviously, it isn't anything special. We've seen that before, but he literally turns into a green Titan when he activates his powers, and he can only do it when he's stressed. So those two factors obviously when he learns how to activate it, like with his own will, uh later on in the series. But yeah, basically for the first two, maybe 2.5 movies, he has to be stressed to activate his powers. And those two factors make him really unique. And the reason he's not an A tier is because lately he just hasn't been the same. They turned him to like a regular guy with an office job. That's what he feels like now. So yeah, I'm gonna just have to throw him in B tier because he really doesn't feel like the Hulk anymore. He feels like, and I know that he's always wanted to not hurt anybody, just to be like regular. Because every time he turns into a mutant, he ends up hurting somebody. I know that's what he would have wanted, but that's not what I want, so I don't really care. He's in B tier for me. Next up is Captain America. I'm gonna throw Captain America in A tier, and there's this one specific reason is why. He pairs well with every other super, well, almost every other superhero. Captain America's shield, he's the only one who could hold Thor's hammer, or one of the only one who could hold Thor's hammer. Um, Iron Man could shoot his beam at the shield to deflect it, and they could just knock out every enemy around them. He also has paired well with Black Widow in the past before, where Black Widow would stand on the shield and Captain America would lift up the shield and give her like a boost. So he just pairs well with a lot of different heroes. And for that alone, I'm gonna put him in A tier. But also the power where he has a basically indestructible shield, well, almost indestructible, is also really cool. So yeah, I'm gonna put him in A tier. On top of that, he's also really athletic, just like Black Widow. So yeah, definitely worthy of A tier. And last up is Doctor Strange, my personal favorite of all time. Doctor Strange, he's just, again, kind of like Hawkeye, he's really versatile. He could see 41 million universes or something like that. I don't know if that's exactly the right number, but he could see millions of universes. He could also make force fields. He could open portals. He has the time stone, I believe. And he also played a really big part, probably like the second, maybe even first biggest part in winning an Endgame. Like if they didn't have Doctor Strange, it's like a 90% chance that they would have lost. So yeah, Doctor Strange is my favorite hero. I hope you guys enjoyed. There are actually no heroes in my opinion that, oh crap, why did I move? Captain Marvel, my bad. There are no heroes in D or F tier because all the superheroes are pretty cool. This is just my opinion. If you disagree, it's okay because I do not care. Goodbye.